Hello, welcome to Dungeoneers Pack, a channel bringing you player-focused discussions and character guides for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. My name is Josh, thank you for watching. The Druid has always been associated with nature, but Tasha's Cauldron of Everything introduces a new subclass that has the Druid draw their power from the stars above. In this video, I'm going to cover the mechanics of the Circle of Stars Druid subclass, give my opinion on them, and give you some ideas on how you can fit this subclass into the official 5th edition settings. With that said, let's get started. The first feature from the Circle of Stars Druid will have us creating a druidic focus attuned to the celestial bodies. With the star map feature, we create a tiny object that can serve as a spellcasting focus for our druid spells. We can determine its form or choose one from the star map table. If we lose the star map, we can perform a 1-hour ceremony to create a new one. The ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest, and it destroys the previous map. When holding the star map, we gain the following benefits. We know the guidance cantrip and the level 1 spell Guiding Bolt. Guiding Bolt is always prepared, and it doesn't count against the spells we have prepared. We can cast Guiding Bolt without spending a spell slot. We can cast it a number of times this way equal to our proficiency bonus, and regain all uses after we finish a long rest. Star Map provides us with a free spellcasting focus that adds some blasting power that isn't usually seen in the Druid class. Getting access to Guiding Bolt is a good deal for the Druid since they do lack some offensive options for their level 1 spells. The cherry on top is that we can cast Guiding Bolt without spending some spell slots the first few times we cast it. But keep in mind, when we do cast Guiding Bolt this way, it will be cast at its lowest level. The next feature we gain at level 2 provides us an alternative use for our wild shape. As a bonus action, we could spend a use of our wild shape to activate the Starry Form feature. While in the Starry Form, our body sheds a 10-foot radius of bright light and a dim light for an additional 10 feet. The form lasts for 10 minutes, but we can end it if we choose to dismiss it, are incapacitated, die, or use the feature again. When we enter our Starry Form, we could choose one of the following benefits. The first option is Archer. As a bonus action, we can make a ranged spell attack that targets one creature within 60 feet of us. On a hit, the attack deals radiant damage equal to 1d8 plus our wisdom modifier. The next option is the Chalice. Whenever we cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points to a creature, we or another creature within 30 feet of us can regain hit points equal to 1d8 plus our wisdom modifier. And the last option is the Dragon. When we make an intelligence or wisdom check or a constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on a spell, we can treat a roll of 9 or lower on the d20 as a 10. Starry Form continues the idea of having an alternative use for our wild shape that was introduced with the Circle of Stars Druid from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Coincidentally, the Starry Form ability reminds me of the other Magic the Gathering setting introduced in 5th edition, Theros. Mechanically, the options we can choose from when entering Starry Form allow us to be flexible in our combat role. The Archer option is really good. It allows us to continue to be offensive while still being able to cast any support or crowd control spells. This really boosts the damage output for the Druid and allows it to step into the blaster role for the party. The Chalice option is a solid choice as it allows us to increase our healing output. Unfortunately, the Dragon option is the most situational, but I can see it being needed in boss fights. At earlier levels, the option we choose when entering Starry Form needs to be thought out since we can't switch between them unless we spend another wild shape. But the good thing is that this changes in later levels. At level 6, we can start off our adventuring day by obtaining a special reaction that is left up to chance with the Cosmic Omen feature. Whenever we finish a long rest, we can roll a die. Until our next long rest, we gain access to a special reaction based on whether we rolled an even or odd number on the die. We can use this special reaction a number of times equal to our proficiency bonus, and all uses recharge after a long rest. When we roll even on the die, we can use the Wheel reaction. Wheel states, whenever a creature we can see within 30 feet of us is about to make an attack roll, saving throw, or an ability check, we can use our reaction to roll a d6 and add the number rolled to the total. When we roll odd on the die, we can use the Woe reaction. Woe states, whenever a creature we can see within 30 feet of us makes an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check, we can use our reaction to roll a d6 and subtract the number rolled from the total. Cosmic Omen is the only ability that hints at the divination character fantasy that inspired this subclass. The reactions in this feature function very similar to Bardic Inspiration and the Bless and Bane spells. We don't have to use up any resources to earn one of these reactions, so we will always have a few uses to use on each adventuring day. When we hit level 10, we get a power upgrade to our Starry Form with the Twinkling Constellation feature. The 1d8 for the Archer and Chalice options from our Starry Form feature becomes 2d8, and while the Dragon option is active, we gain a flying speed of 30 feet and can hover. Also at the start of each of our turns, while our Starry Form is active, we can change which option we are using. Twinkling Constellation provides some big upgrades to our Starry form options. Our damage and healing options gain a big buff, helping us really dig into the blaster or support roles for the party. The Dragon option now grants us flight, which improves this option as it gives us greater mobility in combat. The best enhancement from this feature is the very fact we can switch between any of the options at the beginning of our turn. This adds greater flexibility to the subclass, allowing our character to be what our party needs at that given moment in the fight. The final feature for this subclass is Full of Stars, which grants another upgrade to our Starry form ability. While we are in our Starry form, we gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. The final feature for this subclass is nothing flashy and is a very straightforward upgrade. It honestly looks kinda boring compared to the upgrades we gain at level 10 for Starry form. While the resistance to the martial damage types is nice, we aren't exactly going to be positioning ourselves in a place for melee to be in range to hit us with this subclass. Before I give my final thoughts on the subclass, let's take a look at how we can fit this subclass into the official 5th edition settings. In Forgotten Realms, this could be an oracle in training sent out on a ceremonial pilgrimage to find their place in the world. They use the constellations in the sky and on their body to guide them. In Eberron, instead of being powered by the stars, this could be a druid powered by the 12 moons that orbit Eberron. In Ravnica, this could be a Selesnya or Gruul druid that has been touched by a celestial ancient during a chance encounter. And finally in Theros, this could be an oracle for any of the elemental based gods. It's also perfect for a Nyx-born character. The Circle of Stars Druid is an interesting subclass that gives a character a distinct visual appearance with the Starry form feature. The Starry form feature is a star of this subclass, granting us options in the earlier levels to fill into whatever role our party needs for that combat. And then in later levels, it upgrades to allow flexibility in our combat role round to round. A sore spot for me is that this subclass has no expanded spell list. Instead, it is replaced by a buffed up Guiding Bolt feature. Pairing Guiding Bolt with the Archer Constellation option from Starry form makes the Circle of Stars one of the more offensive choices out of all the Druid subclasses. While I really like the Guiding Bolt feature, the lack of expanded spell list exposes my biggest issue with the subclass. The subclass misses the mark on its character fantasy. The character fantasy of the Circle of Stars Druid is supposed to be based in divination. This is supposed to be a druid that uses the stars to determine someone's fate. Basically, they are powered by magic astrology. The only feature that even hints at this is Cosmic Omen. The druid does have divination spells in its spell list, but most of them revolve around animals. This is where an expanded spell list could have fixed this issue. For players wanting to play a divination spellcaster with a nature influence, they would be better off playing a chronology or divination wizard with either the hermit or outlander backgrounds. Other than this, mechanically, the subclass provides the druid an offensive option that allows for some flexibility to switch to a supportive role in your party. With that said, I want to hear from you. What do you think of the Circle of Stars Druid? Let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, I drop a video every week, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for a subclass that can smite and banish threats invading the planes, check out my video on the Oath of the Watcher Paladin. You can click on the video on the screen to see the new features this subclass can bring to your table, and how you can fit it into the official 5th edition settings. Alright, I'm out of here. Have a good one.